I heard you on some other podcasts I was listening to talking about goal setting, and you and
Mhm.
Ali Quinto both said something similar. I remember Al was telling me the only goals he never hit are the ones he didn't write down. And I've
Yeah.
heard you talk about being like a very visual person. So we're gonna jump into MMA stuff. We're gonna definitely for the WWE people we'll talk about that, and then we'll get into your real estate journey. There's so many different things we can get into.
I
But
know.
starting out, I feel like whether you're an athlete, an entrepreneur, a real estate investor, having goals and small wins is important. And I love what you said because I've heard you say multiple times, finding small, tangible things that you can contribute towards your bigger goal is really part of what helps you get towards the vision. And it reminds me of like I just did. I was at a real estate mastermind in Florida, and there's a few guys there that are like white belts and blue belts and competitive jiu-jitsu guys. And I gave them
Right.
like a private lesson that like I usually don't do, but I was like, yeah, I'll show you some stuff and it's helpful. And I felt like everybody wanted to go from like, hey, you're on top of me kicking my butt. How do I get on top and start winning? And I was like, well, you don't go from getting your ass kicked to kicking somebody's ass. Like, we got to get to neutral. And then, like, and Ryan Hall was teaching me about lily pads. He's like, you get to this spot, that's one lily pad. Then you get to this spot, and you realize it's all these things to get to the point that you're on top. And I feel like people want to
Right.
go from white belt to black belt, but you really have what it takes and have figured out that that's not how it works. There's these little wins that you have to set up for along the way. So, talk about
Yeah.
how you've set small goals along your career to hit big goals later on.
Yeah. I think, to a detriment, sometimes I'm like a very literal thinker and I am like super black and white sometimes. And so to kind of counteract that, I think to be successful, you need to understand that you can't always, you need to have the end game in mind, right? You need to have a direction, you need to know where you're going. But how do you break that down into things that are realistic for you to do every day, right? So it's like, let's say the big goal is to compete at the Arnold and win a bodybuilding competition or whatever, or be the best bodybuilder in the world. It's like you're not going to go from never working out before in your life to winning the Arnold. So it's like, well, what can I do right now? Tell me what I can do right now to be on that path. It's like, okay, well, get a diet, get a workout plan, get a diet plan. Be consistent, show up at the gym every single day, maybe start networking and going to other bodybuilding competitions to get in the right social circle. So the people you're hanging with are the people you want to be, elevating your friend group, which I think is like a big thing. And so I like, just for my simplicity of my brain, I like those small tangible goals because I feel like I'm constantly working towards what I'm trying to get to. I'm all about having a 9 to 5 if you need one to pay the bills in the meantime, but you also need to be actively working towards your passion and your bigger goal, right? So, for example, I bartended for years while I trained MMA full time to be an MMA fighter. And, I needed the bartending, but I was putting my heart and soul into the rest of it so that one day I could get a paycheck out of it. And one thing led to another that led to WWE. And so I'm big on the tangible items because of the simplicity of my own mind. And so I think it helps other people when I say that, like, break it down. Whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be an actor, okay, let's get acting lessons. Okay, let's start submitting for auditions. Let's look for an agent. Let's look for a manager. Like, what are the things you can
Mhm.
control? Because I don't like stressing about those things that you can't control. I don't like that. I'm like, if it's out of my control, it's out of my mind.